Like to call to order the Landfill Committee meeting for October 7th. Roll call.
Abby Lipke.
Here.
Patrick Murray.
Here.
Mark Slocum. Mark is absent. For the record, Mark Slocum is absent for this meeting. Scott Kowalski.
Here.
Harvey Swisher.
Here.
Alderperson Eileen Madden.
Here.
Greg Burmeister.
Here.
Roland Kiefer. Also here is Dan Utzelberger, Chad Siegel, Joe Spear Jr., and Scott Krager, recording secretary.
Okay, statement
Wait.
of public.
Yep.
Oh,
This meeting was properly noticed in accordance with the open meeting laws of the state of Wisconsin.
thank you. Okay, open forum. I don't think anybody's out there to talk. Okay. Compliance officers report.
Wait, Eileen.
You want to speak? I didn't think so.
I have a quarterly memo, which goes through the details of the audits that have been sent to the city. The really pertinent issue is the odor complaints over the last 4 months have been predominantly Metro. Out of the 9 I've had to deal with, 2 I've made the responsibility of GFL, and they were one time, not multiple day. Metro seems to have had a cover problem, and we'll be discussing that at their meeting, which some of you attend. And then,
Don't give your microphone on or just pull it closer.
how's that?
A little better.
Does that mean I have to re-say everything I said? Oh, good. Everything else, the site has been good. Because I like to have something to be worried about, don't like the way that the access is controlled at the entrance road that now exists on 8 Mile Road after the construction. But in the past, I have had disappointments with the way access is controlled, and the committee has said not to worry about it. So that was my conversation with Dan, is that I'm doing my due diligence, but I don't see it needs to be rectified.
What changes would you like to see?
I'd love to see a gate.
Instead of the tires?
Yeah, a fence. I mean, for the most part, that side of the site is covered with berms, so that's why they don't need a fence. And the last thing is the construction's complete. They've submitted their documentation to the DNR. I have a copy too, and I flipped through it. I don't see anything that's going to make the DNR slow down. So I'll let Dan go into what date he wants to put garbage in it.
So you're concerned just the way it looks, or it's easy access because you can get around it if you put a gate up too?
It's easy access. It's an attractive hazard. It's like I said, it's just my interpretation of the statute. But like I said, back in 97 or 98, we had the same conversation about the construction gate over there where, well, it's the same access, and they put a berm across it and a cable back when it used to be the farm entrance. Mm-hmm. So.
And that worked for you?
Yes.
It did. Come on.
I'm sure we can probably put a cable or something across there to be a deterrent to anybody that might want to wander down that road. Just for the record, we haven't, as far as I know, we haven't had any issues with people. No, it's not. Okay. No, people taking access down there, but we can put up a little bit more of a deterrent in that area.
I do have a question. When you're referring to this access, are you referring to the first one closest to Highway 45, or are you referring to both of them, the one that's further down? The one that's actually the original access to the Gayboy property?
Oh, that one's already crossed up with a berm. You got to climb pretty high to get through that one.
Okay.
It's the one closer to your house.
Okay. All righty, next. Status of projects.
Okay. To kind of piggyback what Joe said, The documentation report for the new cell was submitted to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources last Wednesday. I'm anticipating approximately 1 month for them to review and approve. It's not a schedule I control, though. And our hope would be that we would be in the new cell sometime in early November. So we've been able to manage the airspace up on top. Originally we did have some concerns with that airspace, limited airspace, especially earlier in the year when we weren't sure exactly how the construction project would progress, but it has progressed actually very well. And a number of you saw some of that activity when at our last meeting as part of the site tour. So when we get that approval, there will still be a little bit of a dual active face because we can only put municipal solid waste, MSW, down in that new cell as part of what they call a fluff lift. So C&D type material, special waste type material will still kind of be going on top. That is what you kind of see when you drive by now. So it'll be a little bit of a split operation for a while. Specific to clay extraction, we've had a couple of small contractors come in and take a little bit of material out of the stockpile, which is just north of the old Briggs building, as I referred to it. So north of that building. And there does seem to be quite a bit of interest in people looking for clay with all the projects going on right now. So we're being a little bit selective in who we might allow come in and take that material. We want to make sure we're not tracking, mud or whatever out on the 45. They need to, comply with our operating hours and those types of things. So we're being pretty selective on who we're allowing to come in and do that.
An MMSD project.
Yeah, everything's been going well there. Just in the month of September, we had 90% delivery time to the district, so that's a very good month. And we're pretty well set going into the winter months. We've got some winterizing to do of the plant itself, but no real issues with our plant operation and the delivery.
And electronics recycling is going well?
Yeah, that electronic recycling and residential drop-off area has been fine. We've had one little issue that's come up, and it's not really specific to the committee or city of Muskego, but for whatever reason, there have been a number of Hales Corners residents as of late thinking that they've got the opportunity for free disposal. I believe they came out with a flyer that maybe tried to clarify some things, including maybe disposal of yard waste more than electronics and those types of things. But, and I have read that flyer. Should be no reason for that confusion, but we've had people call, we've had people show up, and at times that can lead to some interesting conversations. So I'm just letting you folks know too, including Scott, in case you get any inquiries on that from outside the city.
So for everyone's record, there is a grubbing site on the court there by GFL Muskego, not GFL Landfill, but GFL Muskego. And there, people from Hales Corners allowed to drop some of their grubbing material there, just for everyone's knowledge. I think what that has happened is, this is the first I've heard that they have trying to drop more electronic recyclables off there, but they do drop some of their grubbing and their tree branches off at that court right there. So.
Okay, residential drop-off site.
Yeah, we've all good.
All good.
All good.
All right, all good. Well testing and well water protection.
Yeah, that testing program is coming up here in the fourth quarter. I did talk with Frank briefly this morning. He intends to get the letters of notification out to prospective homeowners and giving them the opportunity to be part of the 35 wells that are tested under this program. So those letters should be going out here in early November, and the well sampling itself is usually conducted in the month of December.
Excellent. And plan modification issues?
Nothing specific plan modification wise. I will say though that we continue to work on the expansion process and securing a feasibility determination. There have been some issues that have come up that we continue to work with the city, DNR, and so it's put a little bit of a continued delay on getting that feasibility determination. I'm still hopeful that that's something we'll be able to secure before the end of the year, which will allow us then to move into the next phase, what they call plan of operation, and which then will allow us to do another cell construction in 2025.
What kind of issues?
Well, there were some floodplain issues that came up kind of at the very end. So we are, like I said, working pretty diligently with both the city and DNR. FEMA's involved to some degree as well. So it's just part of the process that we need to get through.
Okay. And property protection, sociological.
Yeah, nothing's come in on the property protection aspect of things, and little ways yet before we get into the sociological payments. That fund starts usually right after the first of the year.
Right.
Yep.
Nobody's approached you lately, huh?
No one has approached us with the desire to sell. No. There are not too many left, no.
I didn't think so. All right, household hazardous waste. Moving in this direction.
This direction. I shared with you all a report. Before I dive in it, though, I will just give a brief update on the closure of the hazardous waste site.
These need to come with magnifying glasses.
I know. You know what? Microscopes probably would be even better. So before I jump into the report, though, I'll just give you a quick update. You may remember at the last meeting, I talked about how I reached out to several area communities to see if they would be interested or willing or capable of hosting collections. Unfortunately, that answer was no for New Berlin, Muskego, Vernon, and Big Bend. So I'd been working since this time with Waste Management to see if we could get that site propped up essentially directly across the street from where it had been. I continue to hear from their staff that they are very interested in partnering with us on this, but it's their legal team that has, I would say, some issues with the liability language that's being proposed in the agreement. And of course, I want to have that hammered out before I ask you folks for approval to put it there. So I had a meeting with them, I would say about 2 weeks ago, to review that language again. And still what I'm hearing is that there's issues. So fortunately, it's been elevated to several other staff, I would say at a higher level, more at like a district level, to see if we can come to some agreement on language in that agreement. So I reached out just as recently as 2 days ago, no, it was Friday, to ask for an update again on that. And they're still working internally. It is my hope to set a meeting with them in the next week or so to see if we have some draft language that I can share then with my legal team. That is essentially the update. Of course, I wish that this was happening more quickly. So if anyone on this committee has other leads or other opportunities for me to explore, I'm certainly interested in doing so as we continue to work with Waste Management on that. But that's the update.
Are you working with Lynn Morgan by any chance on that?
Not on this, no. But I have worked with her on several other things.
Okay.
Are there any questions on that? Pivoting then to the report, this report, I know it's very small. It shows data January through August of this year compared to January through August of last year. And I find these numbers very interesting. You'll notice on the top left, we have total participants. We are only down 37 participants from this time last year, despite the closure of the site at Muskego. So we had that available last year. This year we didn't. There's only been a difference in about 37 participants. Overall, our costs too are within about $500. So to date, we've spent about $200,134.70 on this program. We had our final one-time collection event in Oconomowoc in September. So of course I'll be sharing with you all the results of that at our next meeting and what the year closed out as, but I'm anticipating that we will be right on track with where we were last year. I would say also historically, from like an administrative perspective, this is a pretty busy time of year for our staff because this is when people are cleaning out garages and getting rid of all that kind of stuff. So I asked my staff to pull some numbers on that activity. And to date, we have responded to 776 phone calls about this program. So just really showing the value of this service.
Nice.
I think that's all I got for you guys.
Okay. New business. Any new business? I don't see anything. Nope. Did everybody review the payments made from the committee funds? Any questions or comments? Pull them up. Yeah,
Look at anything?
it's all good. And I guess we're gonna look for our next meeting.
Okay, I actually put together some dates based on this year. So do we want to stick with the beginning of January on Monday, the 6th? Does that seem to work for everybody, or do we want to push it to the 13th?
I'm all right with this.
6th is fine for me.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll leave it on the 6th.
okay.
All right. For April, I was looking at April 7th. March 31st is the opening of the Brewers, and Easter is April 20th. So the 7th is kind of in the middle.
Good.
All right.
Yep.
Summer is going to be a little hairier. We can either go June 23rd. June 30th is actually the week of the 4th this year. The 4th falls on a Friday. Or we push it till Monday the 7th. And that's going to be the tour and the meeting at the landfill. So I guess the question is, do you guys want to go before or after the 4th?
It would be up to the landfill if we're going to do a tour, I would think.
Right, yes, that's all on the same day.
I know, but what do they think?
I would think before, in case people want to take a
Longer.
longer weekend.
So more people thinking like June 23rd?
Yeah,
That would be fine.
yep.
All right. And then to match up with today's would be October 6th, the next fall.
That works for me. Everybody good with that?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Then we got our schedule for next year. Mayor, would you like to speak? You're our audience. No. Oh, good. All right, then I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And we are adjourned at 5:24.